The battlefield burned like a dying sun. Smoke curled through the broken metal and scattered bones. Every sound was a whisper of death. Captain Ryan Cross moved carefully through the ruins, his armor cracked and blackened from the blast that had torn his squad apart. His breathing echoed inside his helmet, slow, uneven, filled with guilt. He had come here to end the last fight of the war. But instead, he found her. Half buried under fallen debris, an alien figure lay motionless, blue skin shining faintly beneath the dust, silver-white hair tangled with blood and ash. Ryan aimed his blaster, unsure if she was alive. The scanner on his wrist blinked red and then flatlined. Dead, he thought. Another casualty of this cursed war. He stepped closer. The ground hissed under his boots. When he reached out to check for signs of life, the alien's eyes snapped open, bright as twin moons. Ryan froze. She was no soldier. Her face was delicate, almost human, but her skin glowed softly like liquid light. She looked at him with both fear and pride. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "Kill me, or claim me." The words cut through him like the edge of his own sword. For a moment, the battlefield was silent again, only wind and fire moving between them. Ryan didn't understand. Claim her. What did that even mean? He raised his weapon anyway. "Stay down," he warned. "I don't want to hurt you." She gave a weak smile. "You already have. Your people burned my sky." He looked around, the smoking craters, the dead soldiers, the shattered machines. She wasn't wrong. This war had started because humans wanted to control the mineral worlds of the Voran Empire. They said it was for survival. But now, looking at her, Ryan saw only tragedy. Her breathing grew weaker. She tried to lift her sword, but her hands shook too much. "Do it," she whispered. "End me before they come." "Who's coming?" Ryan asked. "The hunters," she said softly. "They kill what they can't control, and they will kill you too." Before Ryan could reply, a distant explosion rolled across the valley. His communicator crackled. "Captain Cross, this is Echo Unit 6. Evac in 3 minutes. Get out." He looked down at her again. She could barely move. If he left now, she'd die here. But something deep inside him, something human, refused to walk away. He knelt beside her and lifted her arm. Her skin was cold but glowing faintly, like starlight trapped under ice. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Lyra Thaya," she said. "Princess of Voran." Ryan's heart stopped for a second. The alien princess, the one everyone believed was already dead. The one whose capture could end the war. And now she was here, asking him to kill her. Another blast thundered nearby, throwing dust and debris around them. Ryan's visor flashed warnings. Time was running out. He tightened his grip on his sword, the same blade that had taken hundreds of lives. Lyra closed her eyes, as if accepting her fate. "Please," she whispered. "If I live, more will die." But Ryan couldn't do it. The weight of the weapon felt heavier than ever. He threw the sword aside and tore the metal from her leg wound instead. She gasped in pain, but her eyes opened, wide, surprised. "I'm not going to kill you," he said. "Not today." "You don't understand," she said weakly. "They'll see us together. They'll come for both of us. Then let them come." He lifted her into his arms. She was lighter than he expected, fragile like a shadow. Her blood shimmered, not red, but silver, flowing like molten light. As he carried her through the wreckage, drones passed overhead, scanning the ground. Ryan ducked behind a fallen ship, holding his breath. Her hand gripped his armor. "Why are you helping me?" she whispered. "Because." He looked into her strange, glowing eyes. "Because I'm tired of this war." She closed her eyes again, whispering something in her own language, soft, melodic, almost a prayer. For a second, the wind around them shifted. The air sparkled faintly with dust and light. Ryan checked his scanner again, but it malfunctioned, numbers spinning wildly. Something about her was changing the environment itself. He stared at her in disbelief. "What are you?" Her lips parted just enough to speak. "The end. Or the beginning." Then she went limp in his arms. Ryan looked toward the horizon, where enemy ships were descending through the smoke, black silhouettes against a burning sky. His evacuation signal was gone. He was alone now, holding the most dangerous being in the galaxy. The wind howled, carrying the smell of fire and death. He tightened his grip on her and started running toward the mountains. Behind him, the ground erupted as the enemy ships landed, sending waves of ash across the field. Every step felt heavier. His armor cracked. His lungs burned. But he didn't stop. He didn't even look back. Because somewhere inside him, a small voice said this wasn't the end of the war. It was the beginning of something far greater. Something he couldn't yet understand. And as the storm of fire swallowed the valley, the sword he had thrown away still glowed faintly, pulsing in the dirt, as if waiting for its master to return. The wind howled through the mountains as Ryan Cross stumbled into the ruins of an old mining base. His armor was cracked, his breath heavy, and his arms trembled from carrying the alien princess for miles. He laid her gently on a slab of cold metal. The flickering light from his damaged helmet revealed her face, pale blue, calm, and almost peaceful despite the chaos around them. Outside, the night was alive with distant thunder and searchlights sweeping the valleys. He checked her pulse, weak, but steady. Her blood still glowed faintly silver, pulsing under her skin like veins of light. It didn't behave like human blood. It moved, almost as if it were alive. Ryan stared for a long moment, unsure if he had saved her, or brought something dangerous with him. He touched his comms. "Echo," he whispered. "Status report." The AI's voice crackled with static. "Captain Cross, connection unstable. Vital signs." It paused for a few seconds before continuing. "Unknown readings detected. The subject you carry is altering local radiation fields." Ryan frowned. "She's bleeding out, not altering fields." "Negative," the AI replied. "Her blood contains quantum-level bioenergy. It's rewriting matter around her." Ryan looked down again. The metal beneath her body was healing itself, the cracks slowly closing as if the steel were alive. He stepped back, uneasy. "What the hell are you?" he muttered. Her eyes flickered open. "A mistake," she whispered. Ryan froze. He hadn't expected her to wake up. Her voice was faint, but every word carried a strange rhythm, calm, sad, ancient. "You should have left me," she said. "Now they'll track you too." "I don't leave people to die," Ryan replied firmly. Her lips curved slightly. "You think I'm people?" That question lingered in the air like a blade. Ryan didn't answer. Instead, he pulled a medpack from his belt and tried to seal the wound on her side. The moment his hand touched her skin, a surge of light flashed through his glove, a pulse of warmth and cold together. For an instant, he saw images in his mind. A vast golden city floating in the sky, alien towers reaching through clouds. A man with silver eyes kneeling before a throne. A child, her, standing in light, holding the same sword he had dropped on the battlefield. He gasped and pulled back, staring at his hand. What was that? Her eyes opened wider now, glowing softly in the dim light. "You saw it. My memory." "How?" Ryan asked. "You're not even touching the interface." She sat up slowly, wincing in pain. "Because you saved me. The moment your blood mixed with mine when you lifted me, our cells linked. You're connected now." Ryan took a step back, the air thick around him. "That's impossible." "It is for humans," she said softly. "Not for me." The words hit him harder than any bullet. He looked at her again, really looked this time. She wasn't just an alien. She was something more, something that bent reality without meaning to. "Who are you?" he asked quietly. She looked toward the small window of the ruined base. The sky outside glowed red with fire from the falling ships. "My name is Lyrathia," she said. "Daughter of the Voran High Blood. The last of my kind." Ryan frowned. "The last? I thought your people ruled half this galaxy." "They did," she whispered. "Until they made me." Silence filled the room. He knelt beside her, confusion mixed with curiosity. "Made you?" She nodded weakly. "The Voran believed they could shape perfection. A being born of both light and matter. I was their weapon and their warning. But I wasn't pure." Her eyes shimmered with sadness. "When they realized I could think for myself, they tried to erase me. So I ran. Your war only found me again." Ryan stared at her. Everything he'd been told, the propaganda, the mission, the idea that Vorans were monsters, it all began to crumble in his mind. Outside, thunder shook the walls again. Searchlights passed across the mountain face. "They're coming," she whispered. "Zaire's hunters. They can sense my energy." Ryan grabbed his rifle and looked out through the shattered doorway. He could see dark shadows moving through the mist, tall, armored figures with glowing red eyes. "Stay down," he said. "I'll handle this." Lyra looked at him, eyes glowing faintly. "You can't stop them, human. They don't bleed." "Neither do I," he said, pulling the safety off his rifle. The first drone swooped down, its metallic wings slicing through the fog. Ryan fired 3 quick shots, each one hitting its mark. Sparks flew. The drone fell, burning. More came after it, a dozen, maybe more. He fought like a machine, every movement sharp and precise. But for every drone he destroyed, 2 more appeared. Lyra's voice rose from behind him. "Ryan, don't let them touch me." He turned to shout back, but before he could, a drone's plasma bolt struck the ground near her. The energy hit her body, and the world exploded in light. A shockwave of pure silver radiance erupted from her skin, freezing everything mid-air. The drones shattered, breaking apart like glass. Ryan shielded his face. When the light faded, she was standing now, glowing softly, eyes white, hair flowing like light itself. She looked at him with both sorrow and fear. "Now they'll find us faster," she said. "I've awakened the code." "The code?" Ryan asked, breathing hard. She turned toward him slowly. "The power in my veins, it's not just mine. It was meant to reshape life itself." Her eyes dimmed, her body trembling. "And now it's spreading, through you." Ryan looked down at his hands, glowing faintly the same color as her blood. He felt something pulsing under his skin, alive, alien, unstoppable. Outside, thunder roared again. The hunters were closing in. And now, Ryan Cross realized he wasn't fighting to protect an alien anymore. He was fighting to understand what he was becoming. The silence after the blast felt heavier than sound. Dust floated through the air like slow-burning ash, glowing faintly in the blue light coming from Lyrathia's skin. Captain Ryan Cross stood frozen, his weapon lowered, his body trembling from what he had just seen. The drones, all of them, lay scattered like broken toys. Their metal shells melted, their circuits fused. Everything within 50 meters was dead. Except the 2 of them. Ryan stared at his hands. The glow that had started on his palms was now spreading up his arms, crawling under his skin like liquid light. "What did you do to me?" he whispered. Lyra looked pale and weak again, her glow fading as she leaned against the wall. "It's not something I control," she said softly. "It's the bond. You saved me, and now our life streams are connected. You share what I am." Ryan clenched his fists. "You mean I'm infected?" Her eyes met his. "No." Changed. Before he could respond, a crackling sound filled the room. His helmet flickered to life. It was the AI, Echo. "Captain Cross. You are alive. However, readings are irregular." The voice glitched, then steadied. "Environmental distortion increasing. Reality instability detected." Ryan frowned. What are you talking about, Echo? Quantum field displacement around you is rising. The alien subject is generating gravitational anomalies. You are standing inside an active distortion bubble. Ryan looked around. The air shimmered faintly, and the walls seemed to bend ever so slightly, breathing like something alive. He turned to Lyra. What does that mean? It means, she whispered, my control is fading. Outside, lightning flashed, but it was wrong. The sky itself twisted, and the thunder echoed from two directions at once. The mountains seemed to flicker, as if the world were glitching like a broken hologram. Ryan's instincts screamed at him to run, but there was nowhere to go. Can you stop it? He asked. She closed her eyes, struggling to breathe. I can try, but I'll need you. Me. She reached for his hand. You're connected to me now. That means my energy flows through you. Together, we can stabilize the field. Ryan hesitated. Every soldier's training told him not to trust her, but his heart said otherwise. He took her hand. The moment their skin touched, a surge of power rushed through him. His vision blurred, replaced by flashes of images, alien symbols, floating stars, a massive glowing core pulsing like a heart. He gasped, dropping to one knee. What is this? My world, she whispered. You're seeing what I am. Ryan tried to focus. Then show me how to stop this. Lyra nodded weakly. Focus on the light inside you. Think of it as a storm you can calm, not fight. Ryan closed his eyes, breathing deeply. Slowly, the air around them steadied. The trembling metal settled. The strange hum of energy quieted. When he opened his eyes again, the distortion had faded. For now. But Echo's voice broke the silence again. Captain Cross, you must evacuate. The energy signature here is drawing attention from orbit. Multiple ships inbound. Ryan cursed under his breath. They've found us. Lyra pushed herself up, her body trembling. We can't run on foot. They'll track me anywhere. Then where? He asked. She pointed toward the mountain's northern ridge, where an ancient structure rose above the fog, tall, metallic, and half buried in rock. The Ark of Vorin, she said. It's not just ruins. It's alive. Ryan blinked. Alive? You mean, like your blood? Older, she said softly. It was built before the first stars were born. He stared at her in disbelief. You expect me to believe that? She smiled faintly. You don't have to believe. You'll feel it. Before he could argue, another explosion echoed in the distance, closer this time. The mountain shook. Searchlights cut through the mist. Zaire's hunters had found them. Ryan grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her up. We move now. They ran through the ruins, their footsteps echoing across the stone corridors. Every few seconds, another blast shook the ground. The air smelled of ozone and smoke. As they reached the edge of a cliff, Ryan saw the structure she had mentioned, half temple, half machine, carved into the mountain itself. Ancient energy pulsed through it like veins of light, connecting towers and spires that hummed softly in the night. Even from a distance, he could feel it, alive, waiting. Lyra stumbled beside him, weak from using her power. That place, she said breathlessly. It will recognize you now. Ryan turned to her. Me? Why me? Because, she whispered, you carry my code. The Ark will respond to both of us. Before he could ask more, a plasma shot struck the rock near his foot, exploding in a shower of sparks. The hunters were on the ridge above them, dark silhouettes with glowing red visors, their rifles humming. Ryan fired back, hitting one, then another, but there were too many. He grabbed Lyra and jumped from the ledge. They slid down a slope of loose gravel, landing hard at the base of the structure. The door, if it was a door, loomed above them, covered in alien symbols. Ryan pounded on it. Open, damn it. Lyra placed her hand on the metal. It glowed under her touch. The symbols rearranged themselves, spinning in circles until a deep rumble shook the ground. The door opened. Inside was a vast hall of silver light, with floating pillars and whispering energy. It felt ancient, sacred. Ryan stared in awe. "What is this place?" "The heart of my people," she said quietly. "And maybe, your only chance to survive." Behind them, the hunters' shouts grew louder. The sound of weapons charged the air. Lyra looked at him. "Once we enter, there's no turning back." Ryan raised his weapon, eyes hard. "Then we go together." They stepped inside. The door sealed shut behind them. Echo's voice returned one last time, faint and distorted. "Warning. Temporal readings unstable. You have entered something outside known space." Ryan looked at Lyra. Her eyes glowed softly in the light of the hall. "What happens now?" he asked. She turned toward him, her expression unreadable. "Now, Captain, we find out if humanity was meant to exist at all." The door sealed behind them with a low metallic groan, and silence swallowed everything. No wind. No explosions. Just a soft humming sound that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Ryan Cross lowered his rifle but kept his finger on the trigger. Every instinct told him this place was wrong. Too quiet, too alive. The chamber stretched endlessly, filled with floating shards of silver light. Each shard shimmered faintly, like frozen echoes suspended in air. Beside him, Lyra walked slowly, her pale blue skin glowing brighter in the fortress light. "This place remembers," she whispered. "Every voice, every soul that entered it is still here." Ryan frowned. "Remembers? What do you mean?" Lyra raised her hand toward one of the floating shards. The moment her fingers touched it, the light expanded, forming a ghostly image. Figures of alien and human shape locked in battle. Their screams echoed through the hall, then faded again. Ryan stepped back, startled. "Are those memories?" She nodded. "The fortress keeps history. But it doesn't tell it, it shows it." They continued deeper inside. The floor beneath them was a mirror of black glass, reflecting stars that weren't really there. Every step left ripples of light that spread outward, as though the fortress itself was watching them. After a while, Ryan broke the silence. "Your people built this place." "No," Lyra said softly. "It built us." Ryan turned to her. "What are you talking about?" She touched one of the glowing pillars as they walked. The Ark wasn't a structure. It was a seed, left by the Makers, the first travelers between worlds. My ancestors found it and shaped themselves in its image. Ryan tried to take that in. "So, your entire species comes from this thing?" "In a way," she said. "The Vorin believed they were born from the light of the Arkansas. But it wasn't just light, it was knowledge. A design. They used it to evolve beyond what they were." He stared at her. "And now you think it's reacting to me?" She looked back at him, her expression unreadable. "It already is." Before Ryan could reply, the ground beneath them pulsed. The fortress lights dimmed, and a deep voice, not human, not mechanical, rumbled through the hall. "Identity conflict detected." Ryan raised his rifle. "What the hell was that?" "The Ark," Lyra said. "It's awake." The voice boomed again, vibrating through their bones. "Two bloodlines intersect. Human and Vorin. Access limited." Suddenly, beams of light erupted around them, forming rings that encircled both of them. Ryan tried to step back but couldn't move. The light held him in place. "Lyra," he shouted. "Do something." She was trapped too, her body suspended in a faint blue glow. "I can't. It's reading us, it's trying to understand what we are." Ryan's visor flickered with symbols he couldn't read. His heart raced. The AI Echo's voice returned, faint and distorted inside his helmet. "Captain, you are standing in an active scanning field. Warning, your DNA is being rewritten." Ryan's pulse spiked. Rewritten. Before Lyra could answer, the light around them shifted into a swirl of images, humans, Vorons, and other shapes he couldn't recognize. Echoing through the chamber came 100 overlapping voices, whispering in forgotten tongues. Then everything went white. When Ryan opened his eyes, he was standing in a vast field of stars. Lyra stood a few feet away, looking around in awe. "Where are we?" he asked. "Inside the memory core," she said softly. "The arc is showing us its truth." The stars around them began to move, forming a scene, a young alien holding a human's hand, standing before a radiant sphere. The sphere spoke in a voice that sounded both male and female, warm yet cold. From one seed came 2 branches. They will forget each other. They will fight. But one day, the branches will meet again, and the world will choose its shape. The image faded. The stars collapsed back into darkness. Ryan's voice was barely a whisper. "It's talking about us." "Yes," Lyra said. "The Makers created both our species. You and I are the reunion it foresaw." Ryan felt a chill crawl down his spine. "And if we fail?" "The branches burn," she said simply. A deep rumble shook the chamber. The vision vanished, replaced by the fortress once again. The light holding them faded, and Ryan stumbled forward, gasping. Echo's voice returned. "Captain Cross, enemy vessels descending. They've located the Ark's entrance. Estimated contact, 5 minutes." Ryan steadied himself and looked at Lyra. "Zyre." She nodded grimly. "He won't stop now. He'll destroy this place to stop me." Ryan checked his weapon. "Then we hold it." Lyra looked uncertain. "The Ark won't allow violence inside its core." "Then we take the fight outside," Ryan said. "You said this thing responds to me now. Can it move us?" Her eyes widened. "You mean teleport?" "Anything that gets us out of here alive." She closed her eyes, concentrating. The ground trembled slightly. The fortress lights shifted from blue to silver. For a second, Ryan felt weightless, like falling without falling. Then the world bent again. When the light cleared, they were standing on a high balcony overlooking the battlefield below. Zyre's black ships were descending, their engines roaring like thunder. Lyra turned to Ryan. "You can still leave. You can still live." Ryan shook his head. "Not if living means running." The fortress walls began to glow brighter, responding to their combined presence. Symbols lit up all around them, forming a spiral pattern that pulsed with energy. Lyra looked at the glowing designs and then back at Ryan. "It's calling you, Captain." He stared at her. "For what?" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "To decide what kind of god you want to become." The sound of Zyre's approaching army thundered through the air, but Ryan didn't move. He looked down at his glowing hands, then at the vast fortress beneath his feet. Whatever choice waited for him here, it would change not just the war, but everything humanity believed it was. Wind screamed through the cracked towers of the alien fortress. Below, the battlefield boiled with light and fire as Zyre's fleet descended from the clouds. Black metal ships pierced the smoke, unleashing storms of red plasma that tore through the ground. Ryan Cross stood at the edge of the balcony, his rifle in one hand, the ancient sword glowing in the other. Beside him, Lyra was on her knees, her body shaking, the blue glow of her veins pulsing like lightning under her skin. "Lyra!" Ryan shouted, dropping beside her. "What's happening to you?" Her eyes opened, bright silver, too bright. "The Ark, it's merging with me," she whispered. "I'm losing control." Ryan grabbed her shoulders. "Fight it. You said it responds to will, then make it stop." She looked at him, tears of light slipping down her cheeks. "It's not listening anymore. It's listening to you." Ryan froze. "Me. The Ark chose you, Ryan. You carry both lines, human and Voron. It sees you as the bridge." He wanted to deny it, but he could already feel it, the hum in his bones, the way the fortress pulsed to his heartbeat. Below them, The enemy army gathered like a black tide, thousands of soldiers marching toward the fortress gates. Zaire's voice echoed through the comms, dark and mocking. "You can't hide forever, traitor. The princess dies today, and so does the last human fool who stands with her." Ryan clenched his jaw. "He's coming for us." Lyra tried to stand, but stumbled. The air around her shimmered. The ground cracked beneath her feet. Blue energy burst from her body, ripping the balcony apart. Ryan barely managed to pull her back before the ledge collapsed. "Lyra," he shouted. "You're tearing this place apart." "I can't stop it," she screamed. "The Ark is using me to awaken. If I lose control completely, it'll burn everything, human and Voran alike." Ryan stared at her trembling form, glowing brighter with every heartbeat. The fortress groaned and shook like it was alive. Then Echo's voice crackled in Ryan's helmet. "Captain, energy readings critical. Detonation risk within 7 minutes. Recommendation, evacuate or neutralize the power source." Ryan's throat went dry. He knew what Echo meant by neutralize. He looked at Lyra. She was the source. The sword in his hand began to hum, its silver edge shining with the same light that flowed through her veins. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a key. She saw the look in his eyes and gave a small, sad smile. "Do it," she whispered. Ryan shook his head violently. "No, I'm not killing you." Her expression softened. "Then everyone dies." He could hear the fortress cracking beneath them, the hum growing louder, painful. The sky above split with fire as Zaire's fleet drew closer. "Kill me." Lyra's voice trembled. "Or claim me. It's the only way to end this." Ryan stared at her, the words cutting through him like glass. "Claim you? What does that even mean?" She reached for his hand and pressed it to her chest. "The Ark binds through connection. If you take control, if you accept me, it will obey you." "But if I'm wrong?" he asked quietly. "Then we both burn," she said with a faint smile. "And maybe the universe with us." For a long moment, neither spoke. Only the distant thunder of war filled the air. Ryan could see the fear in her eyes, but also trust. He'd seen that look before, on battlefields where soldiers gave everything for one final stand. He lifted the sword, its edge trembling. "Ryan," she whispered, closing her eyes. "Whatever you choose, make it quick." The fortress flared. The ground split open. Shards of light swirled around them, forming a storm of energy that lifted them into the air. Zaire's fleet began to fire, but the blasts curved away, deflected by the Ark's growing power. Echo's voice shouted over the comms. "Captain, the Ark's core is destabilizing. Decision must be made now." Ryan gritted his teeth. Sweat rolled down his face. His heart pounded so hard it hurt. He looked at Lyra one last time, and made his choice. He dropped the rifle, grabbed her face with both hands, and pressed his forehead to hers. "Then I claim you," he said. The moment the words left his mouth, the sword burst into white fire. The light shot through both of them, spiraling into the sky. For an instant, Ryan saw everything: the stars, the makers, the birth of two races, and then the explosion consumed it all. A massive shockwave rippled across the battlefield, throwing ships and soldiers alike into chaos. The fortress glowed brighter than a sun, then vanished in a single flash. Silence followed. No one knew if they had survived. High above the planet, Zaire's flagship drifted through debris. His officers scanned the surface below. "My lord," one of them said quietly, "the fortress is gone. There's nothing left." Zaire stared into the burning clouds. "No," he said slowly. "Something remains. I can feel it." He turned toward the light that still shimmered faintly in the distance, a single pulse, steady and alive. "The Ark has chosen," he whispered. "And now, we will all pay for it." Silence. No sound. No wind. No sky. Ryan Cross opened his eyes and saw only darkness, an endless, starless ocean stretching in every direction. His body floated weightless, his hands glowing faintly with silver light. He tried to breathe, and air filled his lungs. He tried to move, and the void rippled like water. "Lyra!" he called out, his voice echoing across nothing. For a long moment, there was no answer. Then a soft light appeared in the distance, pulsing gently, like a heartbeat. Ryan moved toward it, his feet gliding across invisible ground. The closer he came, the brighter it grew until he saw her, Lyra Thea, floating in midair, her body surrounded by tendrils of energy. Her eyes were closed. Her hair flowed around her like liquid silver. "Lyra!" Ryan shouted, running to her. He reached out and grabbed her hand. It was warm, alive. Her eyes opened slowly, silver, glowing brighter than before. "Ryan," she whispered. "You're still here." He smiled faintly. "Guess I didn't burn after all." She tried to sit up, her gaze sweeping across the endless void. "The fortress, it's gone." Ryan nodded. "We're not dead, are we?" She shook her head. "No. We're inside the ark now. It pulled us in when the energy collapsed." Ryan looked around. "Inside? You mean this nothing, is the ark?" "Not nothing," she said softly. "This is its core. A place between creation and destruction." Ryan frowned. "Great. So we're trapped in a god's stomach." She laughed quietly, but there was sadness in her voice. "Something like that." A shimmer passed through the void, and suddenly, images began to form around them, floating fragments of memory. They saw cities made of glass and light, great ships sailing through stars, beings of energy shaping worlds with their hands. "The Makers," Lyra whispered in awe. "This is their history." Ryan watched as the vision shifted. The Makers split into two races, one of light, one of flesh. They grew apart, began to fear each other, and finally, they fought. The scene faded. "So that's it," Ryan said quietly. "Your people and mine. We were born from the same source." "Yes," she said. "And the Ark wanted us to remember." Ryan turned to her. "And now? What does it want now?" Lyra's expression darkened. "Balance. It sees us as the final link between both species. It's testing us, to see if we can exist together, or if we'll destroy each other like before." Before Ryan could answer, the ground beneath them started to glow. The void trembled. A voice filled the air, deep, ancient, echoing from every direction. Two souls merged. Judgment incomplete. Ryan spun around, looking for the source. "Who said that?" "The Ark recognizes union. Purpose undefined. Conflict persists." Lyra's voice trembled. "It's reading us. It's measuring the connection." "Connection?" Ryan asked. She met his eyes. "What you did, when you claimed me, it bound us. The Ark sees us as one being now." Ryan's stomach twisted. "So, we're connected? Like, permanently?" "Yes. Your life and mine are linked. If one of us dies, the other will too." Ryan blinked. "That's a terrible deal." Lyra gave a small, sad smile. "For you, maybe. For me, it's hope." He didn't know what to say. The light around them pulsed again, stronger this time, and suddenly, the void began to crack, lines of white fire spreading in every direction. Lyra gasped. "It's collapsing." Ryan grabbed her arm. "Can you control it?" She shook her head. "It's testing our will. We have to choose something, create meaning, or we'll both be erased." Ryan gritted his teeth. "Choose what?" "Purpose," she cried. "The Ark needs a direction, a reason to exist again." The cracks widened, and fragments of reality began to fall away. Ryan could see flashes of both their worlds, Earth and Vorin, colliding, merging, tearing apart. He took Lyra's hand and looked her straight in the eyes. "Then we give it one." "How?" she asked desperately. By believing in something bigger than war, Ryan said. By proving we can stand together. He closed his eyes and focused on her presence. The warmth of her hand, the rhythm of her breathing, the faint shimmer of energy linking them. The void reacted instantly. The cracks slowed. The chaos froze. Lyra gasped. Ryan, it's listening. He opened his eyes, and light burst from them, human gold and alien silver intertwining. The Ark's voice echoed once more. Balance detected. Union stable. For now. The darkness faded away, replaced by a vast field of stars. A planet hung below them, neither Earth nor Vorin, but something new. Ryan stared in silence. Where are we? The Ark made it, Lyra whispered. A neutral world. A bridge between us. He looked at her. So we passed the test. She shook her head. No. We only delayed it. The Ark will keep watching us. It wants to see if peace can survive longer than war. Ryan sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. Guess that's better than being dead. Then, without warning, his communicator buzzed. A voice, familiar, human, crackled through. Captain Cross, do you copy? This is Echo. We've detected massive energy fluctuations. Are you alive? Ryan's eyes widened. Echo, you're still functioning. Barely. I'm tracking you, Captain. But your position doesn't exist on any map. Ryan looked around at the glowing horizon. Yeah, he muttered. I noticed. Lyra turned toward the stars. Zyre will come, she said quietly. He won't stop. Not while the Ark still breathes. Ryan clenched his fists. Then we make sure he never finds this place. She nodded slowly, her silver eyes gleaming. Together. The Ark's voice whispered one last time, fading into the starlight. The choice has been made. The end is not yet written. And as the two stood hand in hand on the newborn world, the stars above began to shift, forming a new constellation that resembled a sword and a flame entwined as one. The newborn world was calm for the first time. Silver grass waved under twin moons, and rivers of light flowed through the valleys like veins in a living planet. Ryan Cross stood on a cliff, looking down at the glowing land. It was beautiful, peaceful, almost too perfect. Behind him, Lyrathia stepped out of the mist, her white hair shining faintly. It feels alive, she said. Like it's breathing with us. Ryan nodded. Maybe it is. The Ark built this place from both our memories. Half human, half Vorin. She smiled gently. Then it carries both our hopes. For a while, they said nothing. The wind moved softly through the grass. Then Ryan's communicator crackled. Captain, this is Echo. He tapped his earpiece. Go ahead. Something is coming. Energy surge detected at orbital range. I advise extreme caution. Ryan frowned. How big? Massive. Matching signature, Zyre's flagship. Lyra's eyes darkened. He found us. The sky split apart as a black ship pierced through the clouds, surrounded by crimson lightning. It was larger than before, reforged, darker, burning with hatred. The fortress of peace trembled under its shadow. Zyre's voice echoed from above, broadcast across the entire planet. So this is what the traitors built, a false paradise. You think the Ark belongs to you? You think you can rewrite creation? Ryan raised his rifle. Looks like he's in a bad mood. Lyra shook her head. He's not here for revenge. He's here for control. A beam of red light struck the ground nearby, tearing a crater in the soil. The air filled with a strange vibration, cold and metallic. From the crater rose dark mist, shaped like twisting shadows. Ryan stepped back. What is that? Lyra's expression turned to fear. Corruption. He's using the Void Engine. The what? A weapon built from broken pieces of the Ark, she said. It eats light and replaces it with darkness. It doesn't just destroy, It changes. Ryan watched as the shadow spread across the valley, turning grass to ash and rivers to black glass. He could feel it crawling toward them like smoke that wanted to breathe. Echo's voice broke through again. Captain, the corruption field is expanding. Recommend immediate retreat. Ryan clenched his jaw. No. We stop him here. He turned to Lyra. Can the Ark fight back? She closed her eyes, feeling the energy beneath her feet. Only if we give it focus. The Ark reacts to our will, remember? Ryan nodded. Then let's give it something to fight for. They joined hands. The ground beneath them glowed blue and gold. Waves of light shot through the earth, meeting the darkness head-on. The planet groaned like a living thing under the clash. High above, Zyre watched from his ship. His crimson eyes burned with fury. So the Ark gave you its heart, he muttered. Then I'll carve it out myself. He pressed his gauntlet to the control panel. A dark crystal rose before him, swirling with trapped light. Release the core. The ship's belly opened, and the crystal fell toward the planet, burning through the clouds like a red comet. Ryan looked up and felt the air twist around him. Incoming! The crystal struck the ground with a blinding explosion. The impact threw Ryan and Lyra off their feet. When the light faded, the crater had become a deep pit of shadow, and inside it stood Zyre, alive, armored, and seething with power. He walked toward them, his steps cracking the ground. You stole what was mine, he said. The Ark was meant for the Vorin alone. Ryan raised his weapon. Funny, it didn't seem to agree with you. Zyre's armor flared red. You don't deserve its gift, human. He lifted his hand, and the corruption responded. Black tendrils rose from the ground, wrapping around Ryan's legs. Pain shot through him as the shadow tried to pull him down. Ryan! Lyra cried, rushing forward. She thrust her palm toward Zyre, unleashing a blast of silver light. The tendrils shattered, and Ryan fell free. Zyre staggered back but laughed. Still protecting your pet? Lyra's voice hardened. He's not my pet. He's my equal. The words seemed to shake the air itself. The Ark's light brightened again, rising behind them like a second sun. Zyre snarled. Then you'll die together. He charged. Ryan met him head-on, sword against blade, light against shadow. Every strike cracked the sky. Every impact sent ripples across the land. Echo's voice tried to cut through the chaos, but neither heard it. Lyra raised both hands, channeling the Ark's energy into a blinding sphere. Ryan, move. Ryan rolled aside as she hurled the sphere straight at Zyre. The explosion of light swallowed him whole. When the smoke cleared, Zyre was on one knee, his armor smoking, but his eyes still burned. He grinned. You think that will stop me? The void engine feeds on your light. He thrust his blade into the ground, and darkness erupted once more, spreading faster than before. Lyra fell to the ground, gasping, her energy fading. Ryan ran to her side. Lyra, stay with me. She reached up, touching his face weakly. He's drawing power from the Ark's heart. You have to cut him off. How? Her voice trembled. The link between us, you can use it. Channel everything we have. Through the sword. Ryan looked at the weapon in his hand. Its silver edge flickered, dim but alive. He nodded slowly. He stood, planted his feet, and lifted the sword toward the burning sky. The blade answered. Light exploded from it, not just gold or silver this time, but both, spiraling together like fire and water. Zyre turned in shock. No, what are you doing? Ryan shouted over the roar of energy. Finishing what the Makers started. He drove the sword into the ground. A storm of light surged outward, meeting Zyre's darkness in one colossal blast. The planet shook, mountains split, the sky itself burned white. When the light faded, Zyre was gone. Only ashes remained where he had stood. Ryan collapsed beside Lyra, breathing hard. The Ark's voice whispered faintly above them. Balance restored. Temporarily. Lyra opened her eyes and looked at him with a tired smile. You did it, she said. Ryan looked at the smoking horizon. No, he murmured. We just survived the first round. Far above, in the ruins of Zaire's ship, a shard of the void engine still pulsed, alive, waiting.